What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Game of the Week show. I'm Matt, that's Dan, and that is Ash.
Ew.
Hello, everyone. I have just come straight up from 2 flights to be here with you guys today. So
Jet setting.
I hope you appreciate the effort, and everyone out there appreciates the dedication.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it. I just decided, well, got to get on those 2 flights just to come here and record this show.
And you've not even opened your suitcase and put the first load of washing on yet.
Nope. That's what the old ball and chain's for. Anyway, so the Game of the Week show is a weekly show that the 3 of us do, where we get together every Monday to talk about the latest news topics in the video game industry. We then also go through the game releases for that week before each picking our favourite games of the week. So if you are a fan of video games, including Let's Plays, news, items, conversations, we do it all here on TGI. You can find it all on our website, thegamerinitiative.com. The link to that is down below. So,
Episode 90.
Episode 90.
Wow.
It's been a long time. We have more episodes than we have subscribers.
That was never difficult though, really, was it?
Didn't we manage that after like episode 5?
Yeah,
At
probably.
one point.
I was always hopeful that our subscribers will at least stay above the episode numbers, but too much to ask. Let's dive straight into the news then. Number 1 this week. So there's been conversations being had, reports being filed by people who like to investigate about the PlayStation 4 console and whether or not we're going to maybe see an upgrade to this console, a PlayStation 4.5 as it were. Now, there was a report that kind of came out and then people were like, nah, that can't be true. And then the guys over at Digital Foundry have apparently independently verified that this is correct. How they've independently verified it, there's no exact source, obviously, because it's classified. You know, people don't want to.
Cloak and dagger.
Yeah, someone in Sony doesn't want to be like, it was me that leaked this information.
Yeah.
But the big thing here is that it's going to have an upgraded GPU. It's being referred to allegedly inside Sony as the PlayStation 4K, which is a dangerous thing because apparently it is also stipulated that even though it might have the capabilities to run 4K, it might not still run every game at 4K because there's more. It's not always just a case of the increased resolution, it's all the extra things that need to go with that increased resolution.
Yes.
But it will also be slimmer as well as the improved chip, and we saw Microsoft talk about this before. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? The 4.5?
I think it was always on the cards. I mean, we've seen just this. If you look back at all the consoles, they've always had a slim version or a revised version.
A reissue.
It is. It's like, right, yeah. Well, you know, we worked our ass off to get this out the door on time for release when the PS4 released, and down the line they sort of think, well, you know, processors move on, chips move on, technology moves on, and they can make improvements. You know, they find snags that, of course, when it comes to software, you can generally fix it with an update. When it comes to the hardware, you can't really do anything. Once it's released, that's it, it's released.
But it is a big change from the fact that we've always accepted that consoles become outdated. The part of the parcel was how these software developers find new ways of maximising that hardware. And it's always been a 7, 8, 9 year kind of cycle.
Yeah.
So to kind of... The biggest problem with having a 4.5 is the risk of dividing the audience. You know, I mean, imagine having a PS4 game coming out, but only being able to play on the new PS4. Kind of like the Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS. It could only play on the new 3DS. So it's like...
Yeah.
There's a danger there.
I know what you mean. I would like to think we don't get to that stage and that all games that potentially can be played on this console can still be played on the PlayStation 4. This is possibly just to increase really the performance of the game rather than enhance anything too much about it.
Well, there's 2 things that I've heard discussed. Is one, whether there's even a big enough install basis yet for people with 4K TVs to make it worthwhile.
Well, that's a big... Yeah.
That's basically the whole point of it. It's like being able to upscale everything to 4K so everyone can use their 4K TVs to see these games in super extra glory.
Yeah.
Is there enough out there yet to make it worthwhile? And the other thing that people have been saying, which doesn't really tie in because it's a whole separate thing, is that this is being released to help PlayStation VR. But this is the one which is obviously put aside and said no, because PSVR's all its different units. It comes with its own display, which isn't even 4K anyway.
Yeah, it's just a bolt-on, isn't it? Really, to any.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are the two things that are being banded around as.
These are people putting two and two together, because this report has come out at the same time, almost, that we had the big PlayStation VR announcement. Which, if you saw last week's episode, you'll know that this week we're having a big party chat conversation about it, because we had to wait for the return of my boy Ash here to give his take on VR.
It's pre-ordered.
Because we know that that's what everyone wants. But we'll get into that on Party Chat, so you can check that out on Wednesday. But yeah, I don't want to buy a 4K TV. I really don't. My HD TV was expensive enough, and I only got that a couple of years ago.
I'll sell you my 4K.
No, you won't.
So I can buy a new one. A bigger one.
A bigger one? This is only 65 inches. Do you really need bigger?
I'd like a bigger telly, yeah. It can never be too big.
Bigger is always better.
We're not helping him with the move if he gets a bigger TV.
No. So yeah,
it won't get out the door.
Question: hypothetically, then, if irrespective of 4K, if a new PS4 came out, let's say the end of this year, and they said that you can still play Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever it is that comes out, but if you want it to look at its optimum, you need that new PlayStation 4. Would you buy a new PlayStation 4? And they even say things like, Uncharted will look even better on this console, and all of these games are going to look better going forward. Would you buy one?
I don't think I would. I think it would be the case of very much with my PS3 of if my PS4 broke, then obviously yes, I'd replace it, and I'd replace it with the newest version, much like I went from big chunky PS3 to PS3 Slim by the time I replaced it.
But that's a needs must.
But yeah, that's the different thing. But I don't think I'd specifically go out and buy another console just to get that slight bump in graphics, because I don't have a 4K TV. No. I'm not likely to be getting one for where I currently have, where I'm gaming, because there's not the room. I'm not saying that down again. It's
but even if it wasn't the 4K, even if the shadows look better and all of everything looks better in 1080, and then you have all games running at 1080 rather than some of them maybe only at 900 and stuff like that.
I don't feel it makes that much of a difference to the general gaming experience.
No, as long as the new game still continues to run on the PS4. Yeah. How about you, Ash? I know you'd buy the new one.
Exactly.
You
don't even need to ask me.
You'd buy hundreds and just be throwing them out to people in the streets have one.
I would buy one.
I'm terrible. Yeah, I mean anything new and gadget-wise that comes out, I just I'm awful. I would definitely buy one.
Of course you would, and so would I. And you could probably guess at this table which of the three of us has the most money. And I'll give you a clue, it's not me or Ash. Moving on to number 2, we've got the Games of Gold lineup announced.
Yeah.
Just launching on Friday. Still waiting to hear on PlayStation Plus. That will likely be this week now, because it's not going to be till next Tuesday on PlayStation Plus.
First Wednesday of the month, or
first Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday.
But anyway,
it's technically still April. Not April, sorry.
Still March. Yeah, it's still March.
Yeah,
no, the first is until Friday, so and this has come out quite early for Games with Gold, but it's a really, really good lineup this month.
It is very good, possibly one of the best we've seen.
So on the Xbox One, for the entire month of April, you can get The Wolf Among Us, a really good Telltale series. A lot of people are fans of that. I know at this table not everyone is the biggest Telltale fan, but this is still it's a very good story. And then the big one from April 16th through to May 15th is Sunset Overdrive, the big Xbox One exclusive for, was it last year or was it 2014?
It was end of 2014.
It was 2014, wasn't it? God, it's come out that long ago.
Yeah.
Had its own Xbox.
It did. The nice white one.
Yeah. It's a good game. I didn't play that much of it, but I kind of want to get back to it.
I could get into it. It was good. I could see what was there. I was just... We have this thing now where we talk about if a game doesn't make me want to go back, I'm not going to go back.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of other games that will. But it's still a very, very good game.
Yeah.
You do have Lords of the Fallen still available up until the 16th of April So that's another very good game from what I hear as well. So all round a good time on the Xbox One.
It is very good.
And to add to that, on the 360, you've got the original Dead Space for the first half of the month through to the 15th, and then Saints Row 4 for the second half of the month. Both of those games obviously available on Xbox One thanks to the backwards compatibility. So, Dan, is this the best month we've seen of a lineup?
Yes.
That wasn't the question you thought I was going to ask me, did you? Will this make you buy an Xbox One? No, of course. These are all old games. You could play 3 of these 4 games, and you probably have played.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really care about Wolf Among Us necessarily, but you've probably played Dead Space, I would imagine.
I've seen it. I've not actually picked it up because, horror stuff is not... Anyway.
Yeah, 4 really good games.
Yeah.
So Sony really have something to kind of have to come up against, really, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. It's been, with the PlayStation Plus games, I think it's been one of those... so far this year, we've not really seen anything that, for me, has been, really out of this world that I've wanted to download and just play hours and hours of. Whereas you look at Games with Gold this month, and it's pretty incredible, really. I mean, they are 4 big names in terms of titles. Saints Row and Dead Space were they were big titles when they were out. Sunset Overdrive, okay, maybe wasn't as successful as was hoped, but again, it's still a good Xbox One exclusive. And The Wolf Among Us, as you say, is it's good.
So, moving on, back to Sony. Another reason why they need to give us good games a month is because they are shutting down studios that we are fans of. This week was the closure of Evolution Studios, a long-standing racing studio back to the PS2 days. They made games such as World Rally Championship, and then the MotorStorm franchise, which was really popular on PS3, and then, of course, most recently, Drive Club, which was a game that Ash and I both really enjoyed, despite its launch problems. It went on to make more. I'm sure we talked about them selling more than 2 million or 3 million or something like that. They had decent sales, and it just with all the updates they gave to the game, it ended up becoming a really good.
I was going to say, with the updates they did, actually, it ended up being a very, very good game in terms of content. It was very good, but the initial problems with the online part being very buggy did seem to drag on for quite a while after all the hype of the game.
Took a long time for the PS Plus version to get released as well.
Yeah. It did, yeah.
Do you think the closure is a result of this, unfortunately? Do you think the problems they had, even though the game went on to go and sell well?
It could be. I mean, it's always possible that when you fail to meet your deadlines, eventually something's gonna give.
Yeah,
you never know. As harsh as it could be, it could almost be Sony sending out a message to other studios, like, if you don't deliver what we ask on time when you say you're going to. I'm not saying it is.
No,
it very well could be a message is being fired to someone else.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because they've talked about how it was a typical PR thing about how they always do reviews of studios, and stuff. And I was like, this studio has released a game and still supporting a game that's been closed. Where there's other studios where we've seen little to nothing from for a long, long time, but they're still
in existence.
Yeah. And it's like, well, at least we know this studio has done something for this current generation, even if we haven't. It wasn't considered necessarily the most successful launch, but at the same time, there has always been. Is there really a place for 2 racing when they went from MotorStorm being this kind of fun, kind of over the top racer to Drive Club? Drive Club's still fun, but it was more of a simulation racer with kind of arcade elements. But they've got Gran Turismo, which is Gran Turismo, and they're always going to be placed for 2 realistic shooters on shooters. You can tell I'm tired. Realistic racers on the Sony lineup.
It's true.
I mean, if you're going to have to cut one, it was going to be Evolution every day of the week because Gran Turismo is just its own.
Well, it's established, isn't it? That's the thing.
It's the most successful. I think it's the most successful franchise in PlayStation, in terms of units sold, more than any other.
It would basically be like Xbox turning around and saying we can either keep going with Forza or go karts.
Yeah. Well, it's
by comparison.
It makes sense, unfortunately, when you think about it logically. But it's still a shame because I really like Drive Club and I was hoping we'd get a sequel, but that's unlikely now.
I would say it's unlikely.
I mean, it could go to another studio, but And they did say that some of this talent will move to other studios where possible. But we'll see how that happens. Wish the best to all of those who will inevitably lose their jobs. I'm sure if they're good enough, though, someone else will pick them up.
Yeah.
Well, people are always moving around in that industry anyway.
Well, we seem to talk about one every couple of weeks about either someone leaving a studio or a studio closing or something. So, what we did also have though was Sony have announced a new mobile studio called PlayStation Mobile. Very original name.
I wonder where they could hire their staff from.
Possibly, but the focus of this studio it is in Japan at the moment. Is to bring PlayStation games to iOS and Android. I'm pretty sure this was a thing once when because I had the PlayStation phone on Android, so they're getting back into the mobile game. I'm not exactly excited about this news because it's mobile gaming, but this is a sensible business decision. Do you not think?
It is, and clearly, we have to remember that whilst we like our consoles and our gaming, these are businesses trying to make money for their shareholders, and clearly, you can make a lot of money in mobile games. Everybody these days has got a smartphone. Everybody wants to play games on them during their, commute on the train or whatever the case may be. You've got these in-game purchases. There is a lot of money to be had. I mean, look at King and how much money they made on that Candy Crush crap.
God,
it's ridiculous.
Billions.
It is. And they were able to do an IPO from it. So I think you've got to look at companies like Sony who want to expand their market and get more people involved in their franchise. And if they do that via mobile gaming, then of course there's always the possibility that they might move towards consoles as well. If
they are starting up a mobile studio and stuff, and they're putting their focus there, is that another nail in the coffin of the Vita, do you think? If they start moving, because I think there's basically handheld and there's obviously mobile, but do you think they then merge
the Vita's long been dead?
No, but that's what I'm saying. As in, is this another move to just completely cut it out and just be like, let's say within 2 to 3 years we just see nothing for the Vita anymore?
I would think so. If anything, with Sony being Sony, I would think they're probably likely to want to bring something out, a phone that's more geared towards gaming. I think that's the more likely option than any money being invested in anything Vita related or similar, is to have a phone with maybe a bolt-on, like we've seen with a tactile controller that just plugs in or whatever, or a flip open controller pad, or
Well, you've already got it on the phones. The newer Sony phones actually they function with the DualShock 4 through Bluetooth.
Yeah,
and they've got the remote play, and you can play your PS4 on your phone. It's already a thing that exists. So
I think that's the more likely, especially.
I do like.
It's got the image of walking around with your phone in one pocket and your DualShock 4 and hammer, just like whipping it out.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like we're moving towards more portable gaming. However, you do need to fit that in your pocket.
I would have no issue with that whatsoever.
That's not much bigger in terms of surface area. Though it's not that much bigger than a Vita.
Yeah.
No, but it's a lot more bulky.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I mean the only place that the Vita still has any success really is in Japan.
Yeah.
Now they do still like their handheld gaming. I mean, everything in Japan has moved away from consoles to either handheld or mobile.
In all fairness, though, a lot of the games that are quite popular in Japan do translate well over to the handheld of thing like Vita anyway. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we've seen Nintendo do it. It's only a matter of time before Microsoft probably join them as well. Activision, obviously, we talked about them. They bought King. Is it King? The people that made
King, they did,
Ubisoft have been kind of toying in it a little bit. EA obviously already big into it. Even Square Enix now with the Hitman Goes and the Lara Croft Goes and stuff. Everyone is in mobile.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
As long as it doesn't affect my console games, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, I will be rioting down the streets. I don't know which streets. All of the streets.
I want to see what a one-man riot looks like.
People would join me. I have followers. So this was an interesting story that I thought we would include this week. Ark Survival Evolved, the dinosaur survival game that we have talked about a couple of times on this show.
Yep.
It's had really good success since it came to Steam Early Access and also the Xbox One preview program. However, it looks like there's a possibility this game may have to be stripped from sale, temporarily at least. The reason being is that the developer Studio Wildcard is being sued by Trendy Entertainment because Trendy Entertainment claim that their former employee, designer Jeremy Stieglitz, he breached his contract with them because he had a 12-month non-compete clause, and allegedly he was poaching staff from Trendy and bringing them to Studio Wildcard. Basically, the whole thing is going to go to court on April 27th, barring any last-minute kind of settlement out of court, which is a high possibility, to be honest. In a lot of these cases, people always like to settle before court.
Yeah.
Studio Wildcard are very strong in their opinion that this is, I think they refer to it as like something you would read in like a tabloid newspaper rather than actually anything true to it. But there's a high possibility that if it does go to court, that Trendy would file an injunction, which would mean that Studio Wildcard could continue any work on the game, so cease development, which would be a problem because it is still in beta at the moment.
Yeah.
But they would also possibly have to remove it from sale as well until the court case is resolved. What do you think of all this? Seems that I know they are businesses, and we do talk about businesses, but I always find it very weird when like almost like the real world interferes with video games.
It's the same for you or I. During our jobs, if if there is a clause in your contract and you breach that contract, then you are likely to get sued, and vice versa. If your employer is also doing something which is breaching your contract. These are businesses, they are companies, they are run like any other firm would be in a professional manner.
So the interesting thing about this was that Studio Wildcard claim that Stieglitz was not a key member of their team at all. He was just he was just consulted on a few things. But interestingly, his wife co-founded the studio. So did he maybe find a... But Dan, you brought up a really good point that these two games, the game from Trendy, they're completely different games.
Yeah, it depends on how you choose to read a non-compete clause. Because technically he's gone to a competing studio, because obviously everyone's competing for your money. Yeah. But the two games are very different, so they're applying to a different market.
Yes.
So it's like you're not competing on the same level in terms of market, but you're competing in the same market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
video games are video games will be their argument. It's also we don't know the details obviously because contracts are confidential, but it could be more the fact that it's not so much the non-compete aspect, it's that part of that non-compete included stealing staff.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that they seem to have a problem with. There's a really good article on Kotaku where you can read everything.
The fact that you said his wife and so on set up the studio and things, that's the roundabout legal way of getting through that sort of thing, though. Because if you can turn around and say to that person, you want to go get these people from this studio because they're really good and I'd like to work with them again. But if it's that second party who goes out and does the talking and the negotiation and the hiring, party one hasn't technically done anything wrong in breach of contract. Because they've not signed anything, they've not had the contact.
It's different. There's some weird laws there where, when you're basically married, you're considered the same person, aren't they?
That's what I was going to say. There is that thing though, because
in certain states and stuff. I don't know.
We'll see. So April 27th it goes to court anyway. So
potentially, in other words, if you want to buy this game, you haven't done yet. Make sure you do it as soon as possible because it might disappear from sale. I don't think it'll never be the case where the game will never exist, but it might have to just stop selling it for a certain point. It might push back the main launch of this game is supposed to be in the summer. I think it's June. So
is it an online connected game though? Because would they have to pull support from it?
It is online supported because obviously it's kind of got MMO components and the fact that it's this survival world and the servers. So it depends how. That's a good point. It depends how strict an injunction is. Can they just no longer develop it, or do they actually have to turn the whole servers off as well?
Yeah.
You can set up your own private server though, if you wanted to.
That's what
Anyway, find out about that in a month's time, roughly. We'll do a quick wrap up here. We've got a couple of details on some upcoming games and expansions that are coming. If you've been looking forward to Yakuza 0, which was a game we talked about PSX? Was it PSX or TGS? There was one show where it was revealed.
Yeah.
I can't remember now. Towards the back end of last year.
It was PSX.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Well, that game is not coming this year. It's been confirmed now, but it will be an early 2017 release. So quite a long way out still for that game. But it's not a game where I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Needed this game as soon as possible.
No.
We've also got The Walking Dead Season 3. That's been confirmed that it will premiere this year. That probably means episode 1 might drop this year, but don't expect the whole season.
Are they still in the middle of the Michonne one, or has that all come out? Because they said that would come out quite quickly.
Yeah, they came out week after week, I think.
Yeah. So they're done with that one then?
They're either done or there's maybe one more episode to go.
Alright.
Definitely, there was 4 parts. Definitely 2 came out, and I'm pretty sure the 3rd one has come out. Because I don't think it was weekly. I think it was bi-weekly.
Okay.
So there might be one more of that to go. To be honest, haven't been following it.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah.
I just remember them saying it would be a quicker release, but then quicker release could have been like a month apart rather than like the 2-3 months that it was before.
Yeah, historically Telltale have been terrible. They've had no schedule for their release episodes. It's like, oh, here's an episode. Like they would literally tell you like the week before it was coming out.
Just imagine if that worked for TV. You just tune in on the channel at the time, and there may be something there. It may not be.
But yeah, more details will be coming at San Diego Comic-Con for that one, if you are excited. And then also we had Rise of the Tomb Raider, fans of that game. A couple of us at this table here. Very good game from last year, Ash.
Yeah, still to complete, but it is one that I am going to go back to. Not like some of these that I want to, but won't. I will go back to it.
And maybe Dan will one day buy an Xbox One and play it. Or he might...
He might just wait. He ain't got long to wait now.
It's going to come out on PS4 before he buys an Xbox One. So there's the latest expansion is dropping March 29th or tomorrow, if you're watching this on the day it goes up, or possibly even already out now. It's called Cold Darkness Awakens, and it takes place in a decommissioned Cold War research base. By the sound of it, there's some sort of weird infection going around that makes the Trinity soldiers kind of go crazy and demand, not demand, but like kind of just cause carnage, and you have to try and stop it.
But this isn't an ancient tomb.
It's not an ancient tomb, no. But it could be. There's probably maybe a tomb underneath it, maybe in like the basement.
Well, of course there is. What else would be making people go crazy?
There's going to be zombies, isn't there?
Of some sort, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it in the news this week. There might have been some other stuff that's been going on.
We'll forgive you. We know you've been away.
I've been on holiday.
We know.
I'm very tired. It's been a very busy week for me. Not that you care. You're probably not even watching anymore. So we'll get into the video games anyway before we head on out of here. In my mind, the big release this week is Trackmania Turbo, which is on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is a game from Ubisoft. It puts a nice spin on the racing genre. Very arcade heavy. It's all about beating these courses as fast as you can, drifting around corners. When we first talked about this game, we called it Trials, but with cars. Even though technically Trials is Trackmania with bikes, because Trackmania did come out first. But
true.
Yeah, I played the beta, number 1 in the UK on one of the tracks. So was
that at close or just when you set it? And
that was about 10 minutes after it launched, but it still counts. It launched on the Friday or the Saturday, and I was playing it that evening. But yeah, it's good fun though. I liked it. It's definitely one of those where you just drop in, drop out.
Yeah.
For a few minutes. I'm sure Ash will be getting it.
Oh, I'm worried about getting it. I'm worried how many hours. I mean, when I think of Trials, the hours I've put into that game over the course of a couple of years, but it's nuts.
Are you worried about how many courses I'm going to beat you on in terms of time? There's over 200 courses. That's a lot of times you're going to lose to me. Just to warn you. And to Dan as well.
Well, I'm not worried. Does this look like the face of concern?
Yeah. Pure fear, some would say.
It's alright, Matt's not very good at reading emotions.
I kind of read what I want to read.
That's why he has a dog.
Republic on the PS4. This is originally was a PC game, episodic game. Here looks actually really good. It's kind of like a stealth action game where you follow a girl with a very original name called Hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Hope and Faith are the most unoriginal names you could come up with a character.
Yeah.
But anyway, irrespective of the lack of ideas for a name, it looks like a good game. It got pretty good scores on Metacritic. I think it's 5 episodes in total, so decent length of game there. Probably, I really don't know, but most episodic games kind of tend to be the 2 to 3 hours per episode. So
yeah, no, it definitely looks. It's appealing. I think. There'll be a lot of people that will. This game will appeal to. I think certainly out of this week's releases, probably up there in the top half, definitely. I was being polite.
Day of the Tentacle remastered on PS4 and PlayStation Vita. Long live the Vita. This is a remaster of the 1992 adventure game. Really old adventure game. Did you ever play this one, Dan, or is it one that you even have a vague interest in?
It's like I was just saying, like the other day, I saw a video which included it in a point, and I can't think of what that video was and what context. But I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've never heard of it before.
People seem to be excited about it.
It's something I genuinely have not heard of before.
I was never a big fan of adventure games, really, with the exception, they had to be more kind of action adventure, like the Tomb Raider ones, rather than just point-and-click adventures.
But you're taking a game from the 90s, this really is remastered. I mean, in the true sense of the words.
It's been long enough. It's an acceptable remaster.
It is.
Following on from that, we've got a couple of PS2 games that are making their way to the PS4. We've obviously had these been coming out recently. Rockstar being a big party to this with the trilogy of GTA games. Mm-hmm. They've added to that now with Bully, which was a really, really good game. Have either of you ever played this game?
No.
Basically, think about it's GTA, but you're a kid at school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really good fun. And actually, there was even like little, not missions, tasks in class where you actually learned some stuff. You have to do spelling.
You had to go to school.
You had to go to school.
You had to pass your class for the day, and then you could run around and do whatever.
Yeah. I liked it. It was really good.
Bully people.
And if maybe
I know the whole point of the game was to actually conquer the world.
Yes, conquer the world. You're a good guy.
Oh, okay.
You're basically trying to take over the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
If school is a bit too light-hearted for you, then you can always pick up Manhunt, which is another Rockstar game. This one is pretty dark. I don't know if anyone ever played it.
Manhunt. I'm sure I played Manhunt.
Yeah, I've got it around here somewhere.
You tidied up.
I know, I tidied it up so you can't see them hanging around anymore. But yeah,
it's not under the one case I lifted, so I'm not going to read through everything.
Basically, you are a released rather than escaped convict murderer, and you basically go around killing people. You put plastic bags over their faces and choke them to death, or suffocate them.
Nice things then.
Yeah, Hitman.
It was this
more psychopathic.
I remember a lot of people getting angry about this game, and then Manhunt 2. Definitely one of them, or if not both, were banned in Australia. If that means
shocker.
But yeah, those are both good games from Rockstar. I really don't want to buy more old games again, but I kind of do.
Yeah, I like the sound of picking up Manhunt on PS4, but.
We then have...
I'm trying to avoid just picking up games that have been and gone.
That you've played before.
It's like, if I enjoyed it, I just want the nostalgia feeling to sit there and just be like, yeah, that was good. That was fun to play at the time.
Good at the time.
I don't know if it's still on sale, but there was a point where the GTA trilogy, definitely earlier on this month, was on sale on the PS4. You get all three of them.
to sale stuff, I think.
Yeah.
When I looked the
it was
other
like
day.
£14 for all three.
Yeah.
When I think I bought Just Vice City for 12. So it's actually really good. So
I did look at those sort of things like, it would be fun but it's so different to the games that I've played now. I just be like going, what the hell is this?
Yeah, like
you're not doing what I'm used to games doing now, and it's just like it would just feel broken.
I think with the exception of kind of like platformers, most other games just don't age as well because the fundamentals of a platformer is still the same.
Yeah.
Whereas every other game, it's evolved in terms of what you can do. So like GTA Vice City, we talked about my favourite GTA, but it's still quite hard to play when you've played GTA 5.
Yeah.
Well, you've got games where you couldn't duck or you couldn't jump, back then. Whereas now you can do all that.
Well, just think of the times where you couldn't aim and move at the same time.
Well, like Doom, where it was just you couldn't look up or down.
Yeah.
Everything was just
Straight.
Yeah.
It's like just the difference it is now.
Right, we've got a few more games here that we'll just run through quite quickly. We've got O'Cage Shadow King, which is another PS2 classic over on the PlayStation 4. This one was it the RPG? Was this the dungeon? It was an RPG game. I remember that.
Yes,
but other than that, I can't remember.
Yes.
But you'll have seen a 10-second clip, which I'm sure has told you everything you need to know.
To be honest, we did struggle with some of the trailers this week.
This was one
I'm
that
tired.
This was one that we definitely went.
Yeah.
I remember having to read the description because the trailer didn't really say much.
Yeah.
We've got Doodle Devil on the PS4. This was a mobile game making its way here.
Follow up to Doodle God.
Or spin-off, maybe.
Or spin-off. Or so.
You draw and create stuff, but this time, rather than creating good stuff, you create bad stuff.
Yeah. You've gone to the dark side.
Yeah.
As it said, basically.
Get it on mobile because it's probably like £1 on mobile versus like the probably £6 they charge on. I've noticed that on a lot of mobile games. They're so much more expensive on the consoles than on mobile. So, and the fact that it is a mobile game, just buy it on there. We then have XCOM Enemy Unknown Plus for the Vita. So XCOM is quite a famous game. Most people probably heard of it. It's a turn-based strategy game coming to the Vita now, which is great for those Vita fans out there. Vita having a couple of strong showings this week with their games. XCOM. Anyone here ever get into XCOM at all?
No. I did look at it at one time, but then I
thought it'd be something that you might quite enjoy, actually.
Nah, it's like I looked at it and went, it's just too strategic
In
terms of what I want.
I don't want to finish.
Well, because there was in that particular, or in most XCOMs, there's just no ability to jump in and actually do the shooting or whatever. It's you're just watching things happen on a dice roll. Yeah. Whereas, like, if I've been able to actually jump in and be like, right, I'm this character, everything else is going around me.
You've got more control over it real time,
Yeah.
whereas this is very much, I think that's why strategy games have just never appealed to me, because it's all about...
Real time ones are okay, though. It's the turn-based stuff.
Yeah.
For me, personally.
Yeah. It's like I managed to get on with, like, Total War and so on, because it's real time, things are happening, can adjust. I mean, it's still a bit of a dice roll, but...
Yeah.
Did you ever get into the Red Alert games? Those games ever appeal to you?
No.
Just like to shoot stuff yourself, not have to think about stuff.
Shoot stuff, or drive stuff, or I don't know.
Snowboard stuff.
Snowboard stuff.
2 more games here. We got Strangers of Sword City on the Xbox One. This is a dungeon crawler Japanese role-playing game.
Very Japanese.
Pretty Japanese. None of us here have any interest in this game, so I'm not going to say any more. I'm just filling, so it's long enough for you to have a 10-second clip. That's about enough.
Yeah.
And then we got 101 Ways to Die on the PS4. We talked about it last week, so we won't go into huge details when it came out on the Xbox One. It was Dan's pick of the week because it just looks like a fun little game. You'll see the clip again to remind you. Yeah. Ash enjoyed it. It was the first time
I do, I missed last week's show, so really good to see this game, because I think it's one of those that you can have a lot of fun with, and just it's very sort of mind-numbing, I think, by the looks of things, but entertaining at the same time.
Yeah. And that's it for this week. We made it. This felt like a struggle for me. I'm sorry if I've seemed a bit miserable in this episode, but it's been a busy week. I've been up since...
Yeah, no one cares.
I care. I had 4 hours sleep. Anyway. So what is your pick of the week, Dan?
Well, there are those sort of like good games from Rockstar, but like I said, I don't want to be revisiting old stuff, and I think really that sort of thing should stay in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm done with Trials, as in like it was my drop in drop out game, and I just don't care for it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Trackmania Turbo is going to fill that spot for now.
So basically,
once I get through all the big game stuff that I've got going on, but at the moment there's no quick, I just want to play games for like 10-20 minutes sort of thing.
Yep.
Game that I want to be doing anymore.
Fair enough. I agree with you this week. I enjoyed the game. It's a good fun game. I played it on PC, the older games when they came out, so I've been looking forward to this game for a while, and I'm glad it's finally here.
You have both said exactly every word I wanted to say, pretty much. I've been dying for this game to come out. Like you, I've pretty much done Trials to the death. I don't feel I can do any more. I've unlocked all the levels I can.
I've got plenty of levels. I just kind of got bored of the game, if I'm honest.
It got to a point where it got just too hard.
Yeah.
In terms of when you get to the final levels, but what I still like to do now, even occasionally, is go in and still sort of beat a couple of your scores every now and again. It's quite nice.
It's because I've played it in like 3 years.
And I know,
Feel free, I don't pay attention.
I was going to say, now you're not going to go back in it, so it's like, it's fine. They won't even know I've beat them. But yeah, Trackmania Turbo
I'll probably go back and there's like, you know how it notifies you in the game or something.
Yeah.
Your score. I'll just have like 100 and something things or whatever. It's like, this has been beaten, this has been beaten.
But that could be the new Trackmania Turbo, I think, for competitiveness between us around this table in terms of times, and Matt will say he's the best. But
I was going to say it's not a competition when you're this good. So that's it for this week. We'll get out of here now before one of these guys hits me. So let us know down below what you think about this PlayStation 4.5. That's obviously the big news this week. Whether or not you would buy one, whether or not you want one. Also, what kind of games do you think Sony are going to need to drop to kind of compete with games of gold? Because it seems to be every month we talk about how Xbox seems to be winning. So that is I think a really interesting conversation we'll probably have next week once they're announced. And whether or not you're going to play Trackmania Turbo, let us know so that we can beat all your scores. But for now, thank you, Ash.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dan.
Cheers, guys.
And everyone out there, thank you very much for watching. We will see you all next time.